I have lots to share with you today. I will show you everything I added to my February planner pages. I will introduce my new digital kit for March, as well as the freebies, of course. Welcome to Plan With Me for March. It's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. If you've missed how I made this planner from scratch, you can find that video linked below. So let me show you what I have done throughout the past few weeks. So since you've seen this last, I have added a tiny little envelope on this pocket up here with a tiny little tag that I have embossed and also added some gold on top. It's just there because it's pretty, no other function. I also added this envelope with a tab and a tiny Tim Holtz paper clip here to hold it closed. And in here I have a little booklet, which I just stamped this cute, adorable raccoon image in the front. And inside I have some journaling about some lessons I have learned, about why I didn't like my previous planner and the changes I have made for this planner. Also, you might see that I've added some coffee splatters to all of the pages to kind of warm them up a little bit. These two pages were actually meant to be for my book reviews, and I got so carried away decorating the pages that I forgot. So instead, I'm going to be using this and this page for my book reviews. So here I just made a collage with the February kit from the Secret Forest Society. I added a beautiful kind of like Art Deco golden ribbon here, some journaling here, and then this here is a paper from my friend Honey, Hallo liebe Honey, which I think is from a jelly plate, and I added a tag that I had made a long time ago, which didn't have a home yet, but I still really like it. And I added just some lace in the back, a beautiful beige feather, this ball chain with a dangle from my friend Sonja. Hallo liebe Sonja, schau, es hat einen schönen Platz gefunden. And I added a big eyelet on the bottom here with some fun fibers. So these are Avril yarns, which I love dearly for the added texture. On the back, I added a tag from my Secret Forest Society kit and some lace and thread on top here for some added texture. Here I added a wallpaper tuck spot by sewing the wallpaper first and then gluing it onto my page. I added this fun golden doodle of a flower with some lace underneath and some thread. And one thing I wanted to add throughout this book is papers of tutorials and progress that I'm making with my new iPad and the app Procreate. So I'm just learning how to use Procreate, and I've been following some tutorials. This is one of the tutorials I've made learning how to make a pattern. And on the back, I put from who the tutorial is. It's by Tati Works, and just my experience with this. So I wanted to stick this in here to kind of, document my journey of my digital progress. Didn't do anything here, so this is where the books will go. Then here's my February calendar. In pencil, I added all the videos and the publishing dates. I finally added some more calligraphy. If you've seen my last newsletter, then you will have seen the photo of this. And by the way, if you didn't know that I have a newsletter, I have a monthly newsletter. It is obviously free. You get information on some behind the scenes and things that are coming up, digitals that are new in my shop. If you want to sign up, you can find the link in the description box. Then I added this printout on a piece of vellum because I didn't want to cover all this beautiful writing. In the back here, I added some weird looking mushrooms. I just felt like kind of drawing some mushrooms. And I added on the bottom, do what you think you can't do, just to challenge myself a bit more. This was the first to-do and gratitude page for February. This is where we are now when I'm filming. On this page, I tried to draw a bear, as you can see, and he turned out looking pretty angry for some reason. I still like it. It's just fun to have these things in your journal. Here I added a belly band with some beautiful paper I found locally in a craft store. And brace yourself, I'm going to pull something out that totally doesn't match the rest of this journal, but it's again part of my Procreate documentation. It's this little manga girl and she's saying, I love my new planner. So I used to draw mangas on my desktop many years ago. I think it's more like 10 years ago. And so to honor that, I took a tutorial on how to draw this little cutie. It's a tutorial by Art with Flow. She has a lot of very fun tutorials. So that goes in here, and since it doesn't really match the rest of the color scheme and also the theme of this planner, I just kind of hid it like this, which I think works out really well. Then I used this cute card, which I had in my stash forever. I added some coffee splatters of some really dark coffee in the front, and inside I put my polls that I had posted on Instagram for a video called Instagram Controls My Collage. This was the collage I made in that video. With your input, you helped me decide on some elements for the collage. That was super fun. If you've missed that video, I highly recommend you check it out. I will link it below. I had a blast with that one. I don't remember if you've seen this. I still have to add the to-do and the gratitude here. So this I've just talked about. This moth was another tutorial. I am super in love with this. This was a tutorial by Genevieve's Designs and love it. Again, here I need to add my to-dos and my gratitude. This here is a very cute page from this artist's almanac that I had showed in a recent video, which was promoted on Instagram but is no longer available, unfortunately. Here I added another print on a vellum piece that I first sewed on and then just glued on. And again, brace yourself. This is another manga with very popping and vibrant colors. These should come with a warning. This tutorial was again by Art with Flow, and I had so much fun doing this. And I think it's great to have it hidden here because it kind of peeks through, but the colors are not piercing your eyes. So here I still have to add my to-dos and my gratitude. And on this last page, I made a belly band with a mandala that I had drawn myself, not in Procreate, but like in real, like on paper. I added these feathers to it. And behind it, I have two more mandalas. This one here is actually a freebie that I introduced in my last newsletter. If you missed that, I will link this freebie for you again. That freebie has the mandala version in black and white and also in color. So this one is super intricate. That was the first mandala I did with Procreate without a tutorial, and I really love how this turned out. And then I made this one, which is a lot simpler. I was concentrating more on the colors on this one. So let me show you the difference of the thickness of a still empty signature and one that is pretty much done. So this will be the signature for March. And this is the one for February. So this planner is going to get very bulky. So let me introduce my new kit. I'm so excited. This kit is called Boho Birds in the honor of spring starting in March. And I'm sure most people in the Northern Hemisphere are very excited about spring being around the corner. So we have lots of birds, lots of florals, lots of feathers and dream catchers. So that's number one. Number 2, 3. As always, we have 8 main pages. These are the backgrounds for journals. And there's this one, this one, this one. This is number 8. And then as always, I have 2 more plain backgrounds that you can use as a mix and match for any journal. So that's number 1. And that's page number 2. This one might be my favorite one. And I wanted to show you the difference of how a print can look depending on what paper you print it on. So all of these that I've showed you now are printed on a matte photo paper. Specifically, I've printed with this one. This one was suggested to me by Louise. So thank you again, Louise. This makes the colors so much more vibrant. So if you use a matte photo paper, this is 110 GSM, by the way. So obviously, if you're going to be using a photo paper, you also need to change that in the settings of your printer. Otherwise, you won't get the quality of the photo paper. But the thing with this particular paper is it's kind of grayish. So I will show you now the same print of this on a high quality photocopy paper. So not photo paper, but photocopy paper, which is this. So do you see the difference in color? It's massive. So this is a lot more yellow gray, and this is a lot more like purplish gray. I don't always like this coloring, but I just love the way the color pops. Next, I want to show you the calendar pages quickly. So this is the monthly overview for March. And here we have our weeklies. Week 1 starts with February 28th, so that again, you have a choice to either use this same week from February, because that's in there as well. You can see it here. For my previous kit, it's the same week. Or you can use the one from this kit, depending on your preference. Then we have week 2, week 3. Here again, I just wanted to show you again the color difference. So this is printed on the high quality copy paper. You see the color difference. And then we have week 5 going up until April 3rd. And then we have the page with the 10K step tracker and the habit tracker. Of course, I have my monthly freebies for you as well, which I'm showing you here digitally because I didn't want to print them out because I'm not using them. I didn't want to waste the paper and the ink. So as always, you have the monthly and the weeklies and the trackers. And as always, I also have these with the backgrounds as printables with no dates. So you can fill in whatever month you wish. And also the weeks will come just with Monday through Sunday without any dates. Here we have our Boho Bird notes. So we have 9 notes, which are faded so that you can still see the writing on top. And we have our labels for March. We have 1 page of clip art. 9 different clip arts for you, all with these cute birds. And finally, we have 4 pages of ephemera to go with the background pages in case you want to use this as a journaling kit. So we have 2 corner tuck spots with a word on each. We have 3 more narrow pockets in which you can perfectly fit these small tags, of which there are 9. Then we have 2 journaling cards with quotes here about spring. On page 2, we have 2 more corner tuck spots. We have 2 more journaling cards. We have 2 small banners and a large banner and this label shape element. Here you've seen the 9 small tags, and finally we have 4 large tags. So I hope you love this kit as much as I do. I am so ready for spring. And then I would love your feedback on something. I've received these 2 sheets of a weekly plan from my friend Basma. Hi Basma. Asking me if I could add these to my monthly kits. So as you can see, this is a weekly plan going over 2 pages with a lot more writing space than I currently have on my planner. This would not be dated, so you could use it for whichever you want, but I would of course add it always to the respective backgrounds for that month. So my question is this something you would be interested in? Then I will add it to my shop. Let me know in the comments below. So let's start adding some pages for March here. And for my intro page, I'm going to use this beautiful dream catcher here. So I'm just going to tear that out and then glue that on here. And I think I am going to ink the edges like I did for February. I'm now edging everything with walnut stain instead of vintage photo, and I'm loving the colors so much. Thank you to all of you who have suggested that I try it. It is much more similar to the coffee stains than the vintage photo, which is a lot more orangey. I don't know why it took me years to come to that conclusion, but here we are. Next, I'm going to cut out this Hello March from my Boho Birds notes for my intro page. I can't even begin to tell you how happy this new planner is making me. I am so happy that I made this switch from my unloved planner, where I didn't put hardly any effort into. It makes such a huge difference. It's giving me back as much love as I'm putting into it, and I think that's what's important. So I'll probably put that there. And for a quote this month, I'm going to add one from my nature quotes, which I will also link below. You can also just look up one on Google. There are so many beautiful quotes. I'm sure you can find some for spring as well. I'm going to use this one. I think that works so well with the boho theme that says, "Forget not that the earth delights to feel your bare feet and the winds long to play with your hair." So I'm going to tear this one out. I used my tearing ruler for this, and I used the walnut stain to ink it up as well. And I want to add something underneath this one. I have this paper which was underneath something that I inked up, and I just love how grungy it is. So I'm going to glue this on top and then tear around that with my tearing ruler. I'm going to keep this page super simple. Oh, by the way, this is what that looks like. Because I love the image of the dream catcher, and I don't want to cover more of that up than necessary. So on this next page, I'm going to add my monthly overview, which I have already torn to size and inked up. And I'm just adding glue to the edges of the paper that I'm gluing down. There's no need to put glue all over. So you see the tint of the page is quite cold and gray, so that is the photo paper. Maybe there is something I can still do with my settings to get them to come out a little warmer. As you saw with the others, when you print them out on regular paper, it is much warmer. Actually, usually I would put the 10K tracker here, but I kind of messed that up. So I'll just have the month here, because I always prefer writing on the right page, and I write more on the calendar than I do on my 10K step tracker, but it's okay. I will just change the order this time. I will leave this as it is. I will figure out what to do with that, either collage on it or sketch on it or whatever. And then on this page, I will add my 10K step tracker. So I've added the first full week of March here. I'm going to leave this beautiful paper. I love this. I'm not sure I'm going to add anything on top of this because I love it just as it is. And this is of course going to be the first page for my notes and gratitude. So this is the other half of that, but I kind of don't just want to use it as a whole. I want to experiment a little bit with different papers. So I'm going to tear out this part here with the feathers. And then I'm going to check this beautiful paper pad from Susanne. I think you've seen this in another video. Susanne from Bollenhut Art sent me this gorgeous paper pad, and I love it because the papers are so different to what I have. So it's always fun to look through here. I'm kind of tempted to use some of this gold here because I had gold on this previous little page. And I think it goes super well with this. This music paper is gorgeous, especially with this colored edge on the bottom. I will keep that one in mind. This is wallpaper and actually seems to go quite well with my colors, although I'm not really into pink that much anymore, but actually this would be super cute. Let's take a strip of this one. Maybe just have it as an accent here on the side. I think that's fun. I don't like this here, so I'm going to tear that corner off. And maybe I will still take this paper out and see if I can make that work as well. So I will just glue everything down like that. And now I can choose 2 of the notes. I think I want this one because he goes so well with this color here. And the second one will be this cotton one. So I've inked up the edges and I've added the labels as well. But it seems to me like they are a bit unbalanced. No matter if I add them like this or like this, there's always like a gap, which I am not happy with. So let's add another element. Going to my clip art. I don't want any of these bright colors here because that kind of, I think, wouldn't work with this page. So it should be one of the muted ones. So either this one or this one. This is that same bird, so I don't want to use him. She would also be great. I think I'll go for this one though. This is what she looks like, cut out and inked up. I wouldn't want her looking outside because what is she looking at? She could be looking at this guy. I think she fancies him a bit. Looking up at him. Yeah, I think that's a bit more balanced now. Okay, so I glued everything down before I could change my mind. And while you were away, she actually confided in me that she indeed has a crush on this guy. Always fun to have a bit of romance in your planner, isn't it? So I will do the rest of the pages off camera. You can then see them next time. I do have enough pages so that I don't need to fill everyone with the planner. For example, I might leave this spread empty and do something different on that. So let me give you some book reviews. So I have 5 books for you this time. I have read more in the meantime, but I will continue in the next video because I don't want this section to get too long. After all, you are here for the plan with me and not so much the books, I think. I will go through these starting with the lowest rating, moving on to the highest. Starting off with The Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna. This is about 2 sisters, Meredith and Nina. Meredith stayed at home to raise her children and manage a family apple orchard, while Nina followed her dream to travel the world as a famous photojournalist. When their father falls ill, these estranged women find themselves together again, along with their cold, disapproving mother Anya, who even now offers no comfort to her daughters. As children, the only connection between them was the Russian fairy tale Anya sometimes told the girls at night. On his deathbed, their father extracts a promise from the woman in his life. The fairy tale will be told one last time, and all the way to the end. So we go on an unexpected journey into the truth of Anya's life in war-torn Leningrad more than 5 decades ago. Alternating between the past and the present, Meredith and Nina finally hear the story of their mother's life, and what they learn is a secret so terrible and terrifying that it will shake the very foundation of their family and change who they believe they are. Now, please don't hate me, but I gave up after struggling through more than half of this book. I know there are a lot of Kristen Hanna fans, and I enjoyed The Nightingale very much. I gave that one 5 stars, but this one was super disappointing. I was so bored, and I could not imagine that it would get any better in the second half. I felt like we were going through the same thing over and over. I couldn't really connect with any of the characters, and I did not enjoy this at all. And I realized, and I'm quite alone with this unpopular opinion since this is a bestseller. So apologies if you love this book, it just wasn't for me. But the next 4 books all got good ratings for me. So next up is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. I have used this book as inspiration for some journaling prompts. If you want to see that fun video, please check that link below. This one is interesting as it's narrated by death, which probably isn't everyone's cup of tea. So it's 1939 Nazi Germany. The country is holding its breath. Death has never been busier and will be busier still. So we're following a girl named Liesel, whose life is changed when she picks up a book from the snow, which starts a love affair with books and words as Liesel, with the help of her foster father, learns to read. Soon she is stealing books from Nazi book burnings. the mayor's wife's library, and wherever there are books to be found. But these are dangerous times, and when Liesel's foster family hides a Jew in their basement, Liesel's world is both opened up and closed down at the same time. So I gave this book 4 stars. I did struggle with the writing at the beginning, the first few pages, and didn't understand what was going on. But I'm so happy I pushed through those first pages because the writing gets so more understandable and it's a very unique style. Zuzak really has a talent for using words and descriptions. The story was very touching and not as heavy as you might think given the subject matter. At least for me, it didn't feel that heavy as a lot of other books are from World War II. I do think it could have been a bit shorter and the story would have been just as good with some of the middle cut out. The end was devastating, and after finishing this, I decided I need a break from World War II stories for a while. And it has beautiful gold sparkles on the front. The next 3 books were all 5 stars for me. So we have The Wonder by Emma Donoghue with a beautiful cover as well. So this is a psychological thriller, a story of love against evil, a tale of 2 strangers who transform each other's lives. So we follow an English nurse, Lib, who is brought to a small Irish village to observe what appears to be a miracle. A girl said to have survived without food for months, but she soon finds herself fighting to save the child's life. So Lib's job is simply to watch the girl and uncover the truth. So Lib expects to expose the fast as a hoax right away, but as she gets to know the girl, she becomes more and more unsure. Is Anna a fraud or a living wonder? So this story really surprised me and I enjoyed it very much. I did not see the ending coming, which was awesome. And I would definitely read more from this author. Next, we have No Exit by Taylor Adams. So this is a very, very fast-paced thriller, which had me on the edge of my seat the entire book. We are following Darby, a college student who gets caught in a fierce blizzard in the mountains of Colorado when she's on her way to Utah to see her dying mother. With the roads impassable, she's forced to wait out the storm at a remote highway rest stop. Inside are some vending machines, a coffee maker, and 4 complete strangers. Desperate to find a signal to call home, Darby goes back out into the storm and makes a horrifying discovery. In the back of the van parked next to her car, a little girl is locked in an animal crate. Who is this child? Why has she been taken? And how can Darby save her? There's no cell phone reception, no telephone, no way out. One of her fellow travelers is a kidnapper, but which one? Trapped in an increasingly dangerous situation with a child's life and her own on the line, Darby must find a way to break the girl out of the van and escape. But who can she trust? There is so much tension throughout this whole book that I felt literally exhausted by the end. It's full of terrifying twists and turns, and it kind of reminded me of the fast-paced series 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. Maybe you've seen it. It's really that same feeling. Oof. Lastly, we have Blood Orange by Harriet Tice. This is a debut psychological thriller, and it's about the power of fear and desire, jealousy and betrayal, love and hate. So it's about Allison, who has it all: a doting husband, an adorable daughter, and a career on the rise. She's just been given her first murder case to defend, but all is never as it seems. Allison drinks too much. She's neglecting her family. And she's having an affair with a colleague whose taste for pushing boundaries may be more than she can handle. Allison's client doesn't deny that she stabbed her husband. She wants to plead guilty, but something about her story doesn't add up, and saving this woman may be the first step to Allison saving herself. But someone knows Allison's secret, someone who wants to make her pay for what she's done, and who won't stop until she's lost everything. So this book surprised me as well. I did not like the protagonist Allison throughout most of the book, I must say. But still, I could not put it down, so that says a lot for a great writing style. The end was very surprising, which led me to sympathize more with Allison, and I would also definitely read more by Harriet Tice in the future. In my previous planner, I always used this stamp here, which is a round wooden stamp, to make the stars for my ratings, but that always turned out quite wonky. So I checked my stamps to see if I have any that are clear, where I could see better where I'm stamping and how I'm stamping. And I actually found this little star with one of my sets. So maybe you have some other small stamp if you want to do something similar. It doesn't have to be a star. It could be like a little flower. Or I have another set here that has a heart, for example. You could put hearts instead of stars. Or obviously you can just hand draw your stars. I just want to stamp them. So this is the one I'm going to use. And instead of coloring them in, I'm just going to add as many stars as I gave it. So I'm just going to quickly write down the 5 books and stamp the stars. You cannot deny I'm very talented that I'm able to stamp these stars crooked, even though I was using a see-through stamp pad and I have lines to go by. Not everybody can manage that. So the DNF here is for did not finish. And don't you just love it when you make a mistake in the first line that you write on a page? Just awesome. Go you, Barbara. I have to be honest, I have not figured out what to do with the title. Of course, I want to add somewhere books read. Do I want to cover this up? I will have to give that a think, and I will let you know in the Plan With Me April video. You might also enjoy this video here, where I share how a digital kit comes to life from the idea in my head to adding the printables to my planner. Mwah, mwah.